Here's a look what's happening on the back pages. We're going to kick off at the Irish Independent this morning, which is obviously heavily dominated by the rugby. When a 35-0 win is not enough, is the caption of that. Schmidt really happy despite Russia's struggle, writing Rory O'Connor there. And Colin Keys has a story here on the Clare hurling vacancy. Loan confirms candidacy for vacant Clare hurling job. 3 names in the hat, it seems, and there's been some criticism in Clare, obviously, and in Galway as well, about the delay that there's been to actually appointing somebody. Colin Keys writes, there's been criticism in Clare over how it's been handled, particularly in relation to Maloney. This was one of the joint managers, obviously, Donald Maloney, from the previous regime. Loan himself, Brian Loan that is, has been critical of the Clare board in the past, but has confirmed his candidacy now in a significant development. Like, it's not the worst gig in the world to take on. They obviously didn't have the most amazing year, won 2 out of 4 in Munster and didn't make the knockout rounds. Had a really good 2018, like we're a couple of points away from winning a Munster final. Have some really, like, when you look at some of the talent that's in there, really strong players that any potential manager going in would be excited to work with.
Absolutely. And there's such a fine line in Munster between success and being knocked out and having nothing to go for. I'm just looking for a bit in the Herald here about this as well. I couldn't pick out who the third name in the hat was.
No, it didn't say it.
There's Loan, Don Maloney is obviously still there, and I'm just looking. There's Frank Roach has a piece in the Herald about it as well. Just wanted to have a look about the Galway thing, because they're 2 massive jobs. Like Galway, whoever takes that on, but it's a mess in Galway.
It is, yeah, and like. Even if everything sort of works out, and I know the Galway County Board were out yesterday to say that the auditors have been in and the accounts are fully transparent, like even if it turns out that all that's above board and the Galway County Board insists that it is, even if that's the case, it's just that it's been allowed to get to this point in terms of the communication of it, like that there hasn't been internal chats between Supermax and Galway GEA that meant that it didn't reach this point.
Yeah, just in the Herald, Frank Roach has it that a piece in his curveball column. Supermax order adds to tribe woe. I'm just going to go to the end of it here, and he's talking about whether or not Micheál Donoghue resigned or he was pushed, and whether that has set off a chain reaction. The whole saga is a mess, and it could get messier next week. There are just 3 nominees for the hurling vacancy, and they include 2 outgoing selectors, Noel Larkin and Francis Ford. As John McIntyre, a former Galway manager no less, reported in the Connacht Tribune yesterday, it is accepted that they will not be taken on each other. He added, the major difficulty is that whether it's Ford or Larkin who goes through the interview process, there is now increasing speculation that they will not be prepared to take over as Galway manager unless County Board Chairman Pat Kearney is willing to step aside. Curveball understands that a similar message has been relayed by the players' leadership group. So there's trouble in Galway. Big trouble. So it's going to unravel itself.
There was some suggestion at some point that he might come back. Is that just not going to happen?
I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen. Like, I think there was suggestion of that in the early days. Like, I'm not sure whether Micheál Donoghue was planning to leave earlier this summer. It seems to have just kind of gone in that direction. Conor McKeown has a piece in here as well that Lieve McAvoy and Sinead Goldrick have now brought the number of women's players in the AFL up to 20 for next season.
It's a great story.
Yeah.
Right, what have you got for us there?
I've got the Mirror here, and there's a number of puns to do with United's draw in Holland last night. Nightmare is what we have here.
Yeah, like
United were just brutal. They were rudderless. They were so bad. Like, it was so disappointing.
Who's at the wheel, Tommy, is the big question.
Well, Solskjaer's there, but like he's been kind of left hanging. Like, he's just not signing players in the summer when you're letting Lukaku and Sanchez go. It's been spoken about so much, but they're just in an awful state. They're so slow in midfield. Fred and Matic and Mata. Matic
looked awful last night.
They all looked awful. I saw player ratings in here somewhere, and Matic was given a 7 out of 10. I just don't know how that's possible.
But there's nobody speaking well about Matic after that last night. I was listening to Jamie O'Hara on Talksport in the winner. He was saying, he said, he's looking very leggy. He's not looking leggy. I don't know what age he is, but he's not an old man. And it wasn't leggy, he was lazy.
Yeah, he's lazy. Like, it just seems like he's phoning it in these days. But just on United, like United Arsenal was Monday night, and there was times in that game where United played quite well, and you're thinking, right, these are both teams in a mess, but if United put out a win here, they're back in a decent place. And in Arsenal last night, did you watch some of it? Gabriel Martinelli scored those 2 goals. Exceptional goals. And when you compare it, like Brian Kerr was talking about the United teenagers after the game, it's like Mason Greenwood, Angel Gomez, Taddy Chong, James Garner, like they've been talked up this summer as, Solskjaer's going to give them a chance this year. But physically, they do not look able for it. I was making the point a couple of weeks ago that Troy Parrott for men's football looks too slight. and he does. But Mason Greenwood does too, and as does Angel Gomez.
Missed a sitter last night, Greenwood, didn't he?
I missed that.
Yeah.
I must have switched over.
Did you just say there a minute ago that the game on Monday, that United were good on Monday night?
There was times when they were okay. There was times when they were all right.
Some of the worst football I've ever seen. That
both teams were very poor. Both teams were very poor, but there was times when United were okay. If McTominay had buried that header in the second half, they would have come away with a 2-0 win. But like Martinelli last night scored sensational goals for Arsenal. Brilliant header. Kieran Tierney, end of call, our colleague is saying he's the best left back in the world.
Well, so is Pat Nevin.
But the Telegraph have it that they found a successor to Ashley Cole finally. Tierney looks quite good, but Martinelli, like the header he scored, the flick back inside and the finish, like there's times when Greenwood looks like Van Persie when he flicks the ball to the left and finishes with his right, but Martinelli looks like he's physically capable. Phil Egan was mentioning this morning that he was on trial at Manchester United 2 years ago.
And he let him slip.
Let him slip.
Not like United, Tommy.
Not really. It's usually Arsenal who do that, isn't it?
I think United have done it before, haven't they? The Irish Times this morning, again, it's rugby all the way here. Ireland failed to find what they were looking for in Kobe, writes Jerry Thornley there. Bonus point safely secured, but sloppy second half display adds to misgivings. The weeks go on and Ireland remain a mystery in the East. Also further reflections there from Keith Duggan, also in Kobe.
I've got the Times here. The FA ramp pressure up over Spygate row. That's to do with the Man City Liverpool hacking row. And then the IOC demands Salazar answers. That story's rolling on, and the head of the Olympic Games wants to know if every runner who worked with the disgraced coach Alberto Salazar has been investigated in the wake of that scandal. And also down here in the corner, England caps on merit only. So Gareth Southgate named his latest England squad. The two Chelsea young lads, Tamori and Tammy Abraham, who both qualified for Nigeria, have been called up. He's saying he's not going to throw out caps, but there's another case. There's another case of the English boys. Throw
out caps.
But Tamori, the centre back, he played for Canada.
Right.
So he played for Canada at under 20 level.
Right.
There's a headline in here that he had Marcus Rashford in his pocket a couple of years ago.
Well, listen, if the Canadians want to give us a shout and like sort of cry on our shoulder for a little while, we can empathise with them. So
what would England do without all these nations that they could pick from?
But like from England's point of view, they're like hockeying teams. Just gives them the caps. Like it doesn't make a difference. Like not from an Irish point of view, as if, do you know what I mean? Like there's a requirement to just get them in. Like it's not going to impact on results for them.
No, it's not.
The Examiner this morning, oven baked. The Kobe oven, as it's been described yesterday, the heat was so sweltering, the humidity was so high. Irish problems run deeper than Kobe's sweatbox, says Donald Lenn. Had an interesting piece inside. Ronan O'Gara's thoughts too. Ireland's confidence is skin deep. It's not deep in their bones, says O'Gara on that game yesterday.
I'm just going to fly through this one. Another pun. Tab of the morning potentially. He damned United. But probably not Tab of the morning. There's a Dutch goal line in there somewhere that's pretty good. Ciara McGeehan gets mentioned. She's qualified for the World Finals after her fantastic run yesterday. And then Celtic's 2-0 win against Cluj.
The Irish Daily Star, I'm giving Tab of the morning here to Alkmaar.
Okay. You going with that?
Yeah, I'm having that. Winless away streak continues. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer praised his limp United after the game last night, writes Jeremy Cross there. Reflections on Joe bowing to humidity at the top of the newspaper there from Mick Scully, who's also in Japan. And then Mark McCadden has a line here that I haven't seen in any of the other newspapers. Didzy in race for Georgia. This is Dave McGoldrick. Could earn a late call-up for the Euro 2020 qualifiers against Georgia and Switzerland. Sheffield United saying yesterday that they were working to have McGoldrick fit for the qualification doubleheader. They tweeted, "We're in cooperation with the Republic of Ireland. We have to do the best for Ireland and us, but we think he's going to travel with them. If we can get him fit for Mick, we will. David wants to play for his country, so we'll give him every chance." That's unbelievable.
Yeah, Philip Quinn has it here that fellow Yorkshire man Chris Wilder is keen to help out.
It's unbelievable. We want to help. We want to help Mick. We want to help. Like normally,
it's a bit mad,
and maybe in a lot of cases, rightly, clubs are like, "Here, listen."
Yeah, it's a bit mad.
Screw it, like.
The Daily Mail here, Carberry fear. Rory Keane's piece as Schmidt sweats over Joey Carberry and Jordy Murphy's fitness. They also have Philip Quinn's piece on McGoldrick looks fit for the two crucial qualifiers. I'm just going to give a shout out here to the Guardian. I haven't checked out the sports section, so I don't know what's in it.
Good. That's important stuff, Tommy.
Peter Bradshaw's given the Joker 2 stars. Now, I saw the Joker this week. I saw premiered it.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Now, is Peter Bradshaw a bit of an end of call in that he can be generally quite critical?
He's trolling here.
Like 2 stars could actually be a big rating for him.
To be honest, I woke up at 5:30 this morning and I saw it and I read it. It was the first thing I read this morning. And I disagree with a lot of it.
Right.
It's very good. It's very good.
Your
Bradshaw says, shallow homage to Scorsese's plays a joke on us all.
what does that mean?
I think there's a couple of scenes or elements of Martin Scorsese films within the Joker this time,
Right.
that he's kind of saying it's a bit of a sham.
Right.
I thought Joaquin Phoenix was unbelievable.
Who directed it?
Todd Phillips directed it.
So, like, homage is another way of saying that he ripped stuff off.
Yeah, maybe.
Any good?
I thought it was
Out
unbelievable.
of 5? Tommy Rooney rating?
4.1.
Woof.
4.1.
Woo.
I thought it was very good.
I think you're too easy, Tommy.
It gets under
I
your
think
skin.
you're too easy.
It gets under your skin.
You shouldn't be doing any player ratings and off the ball
Probably not,
anytime
yeah.
soon. Have a look at the sports section while I tell people what's happening at the Herald this morning. It's Mick gets a double lift. This is more on that story from Edmund Fitzmaurice here. Hopes rising for fitness of Duffy and McGoldrick. Shane Duffy could also be fit. I mean, this would be a huge double boost for Ireland if we get either of those players back in the pitch, even at 85% fitness. We'd probably settle for that. Now, Schmidt happy with our show, and also a picture there of Marcus Rashford and Diego Dalot during that 0-0 draw in the Europa League between Alkmaar and United last night.
The sports section in The Guardian, a couple of pieces from the World Athletics Championships. Lingard pulls hamstring on board draw with Alkmaar. And Gareth Southgate, I'm not scared to leave out England's stars. So Dele Alli and Jesse Lingard have been dropped. And then you've got the Arsenal kids as well, with Dani Ceballos after their 4-0 win last night.
The Telegraph, finally, for me, is the photograph in the World Championships, obviously leading with the British stories here. Katarina Johnson-Thompson produces one of the great athletics performances, claim heptathlon gold. It's a sport that obviously Britain have a long and storied history in, and another goal for them from KJT in Doha last night. So that's it.
That does.
Good stuff.